Is China about to dethrone the United States as the world's leading economic power? With over 1.4 billion people, a rapidly growing tech industry, and a focus on global expansion, many believe China is already on the brink of economic leadership. But is it really that simple? Today, we'll analyze whether China can, in fact, surpass the US, or if it's destined to remain in second place. Since the end of World War II, the United States has been the beacon of the global economy, setting the rules for international trade and leading technological innovation. But China, a country that just a few decades ago was considered developing, has transformed its economy and global influence. With explosive GDP growth, massive technological advances, and an ambitious geopolitical strategy, China is challenging US leadership in ways we've never seen before. But how far can they go? China's economic growth has been extraordinary. Since it began economic reforms in 1978 under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, it has gone from being an impoverished agrarian economy to the world's second largest economy. Its GDP has grown at an average rate of 9% per year for decades, while the US has grown much more slowly, around 2 to 3% annually. However, challenges to this growth are also evident. China is facing a demographic crisis with a rapidly aging population due to decades of birth control policies, such as the famous one-child policy. Additionally, the country's domestic debt has grown significantly. By some estimates, China's total debt, including government, corporate, and household sectors, has surpassed 300% of its GDP. Domestic consumption also remains weak compared to other advanced economies. Although China's middle class has grown, consumption as a percentage of GDP is still much lower than in the US, where consumption accounts for around 70% of GDP. This is a weak point in China's economic structure, as it relies heavily on investment and exports to grow. The second major point is technology. The United States has been the global epicenter of technological innovation for the past century, with giants like Apple, Google, and Tesla leading the way. But in the past decade, China has made stunning advances, heavily investing in key areas such as artificial intelligence, 5G, and biotechnology. Companies like Huawei, Tencent, and Alibaba are directly competing with US companies. In fact, Huawei is a global leader in 5G technology, while Tencent and Alibaba dominate digital payments and e-commerce ecosystems in China and are rapidly expanding into other markets. But technology is not just an area of economic competition, it's a geopolitical battlefield. The US-China trade war has intensified this technological rivalry, especially in the case of sanctions and restrictions imposed on Chinese companies. Restrictions on the export of advanced semiconductors to China are just the beginning of a long battle for technological dominance. In short, while China is advancing rapidly, it still faces significant challenges, particularly in accessing cutting-edge technology and patents. Trade and geopolitics are also key factors. China is executing one of the most ambitious strategies of the 21st century with its Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which seeks to create a global trade and infrastructure network connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. This project not only allows China to expand its economic influence but also creates strategic dependencies with countries benefiting from its investment. China has also taken a more active role in international institutions. While the United States remains the dominant player in institutions such as the IMF, World Bank, and WTO, China has created new alternative institutions like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, and has gained influence in bodies like the UN. However, China still faces a major obstacle: global trust. While many countries benefit from their economic relationship with China, they also fear its growing influence and power. Aggressive diplomacy and lack of transparency on issues like human rights and censorship have made some Western countries wary of its leadership. In the long run, this could limit its ability to replace the US as the global leader. The future of competition between China and the United States is not just about who has the largest GDP. True economic power is measured in various factors such as control over global supply chains, dominance in cutting-edge technology, the ability to attract foreign investment, and geopolitical influence. In this sense, China remains at a disadvantage in some key areas. For example, the global financial system is still heavily tied to the US dollar. More than 60% of international reserves are held in dollars, and the majority of international trade transactions are conducted in this currency. While China has attempted to internationalize its currency, the yuan, it is still far from challenging the dominance of the dollar. Without a financial system as robust and reliable as that of the US, China will struggle to displace the US at the top of the global economic hierarchy. So, can China surpass the United States? In terms of economic size, it's possible that China could reach or even surpass the US within the next decade, especially in terms of nominal GDP. However, being the largest economy in the world doesn't necessarily mean being the most powerful or influential. The key to economic dominance lies not just in GDP size but in innovation, geopolitical influence, control of global trade, and, of course, the ability to maintain internal stability. China has shown incredible capacity for rapid advancement, but it also faces significant obstacles along the way. At the end of the day, the competition between these two superpowers won't be a linear race but a multifaceted battle that could redefine the global order in the coming decades. So, what do you think? Will China manage to surpass the United States and become the next dominant economic superpower? Or will it continue to face challenges that limit its rise? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more in-depth analysis of the global economy.